Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, brothers in arms, World of Warships. In today's video, we're going to go over our next Tactics and Strategy series video. And in this replay, I'm playing in the Arizona, the Tier 6 Premium American Battleship. I'm divisioned up with my friend from ZR, your GRE score, and he's playing in the Cleveland, the Tier 6 American Light Cruiser, currently at least. And we're playing some domination here on the map Hotspot. So the focus of today's video are the American mid-tier battleships, specifically those that you find at tiers 5 through 7. And the reason why is because these are known as standard type battleships. And in this video, I'm in Tier 8 matchmaking, but I just want to show you guys some tips and tricks to get the most out of these Leviathans. And quite honestly, starting at the New York and the Texas, which is the premium at Tier 5, you have the Arizona, which is the premium, and the New Mexico, which is the standard at Tier 6, and then you have the Colorado at Tier 7. All of these American battleships are known as standard type battleships, and these were all designed just before, during, or just after the First World War. Now, what are the defining features? Well, there's three big things. The first of which is that all of the guns come in super firing pairs. So you can see I have 14-inch guns. You get 12 of them on the Arizona, 2 turrets at the front and 2 at the rear, and you're able to fire a full broadside with these guns at pretty nice angles. So the Arizona has some pretty nice firepower, if not for the gun caliber, at least for the number of shells flying through the air. The second thing, all or nothing armor, the bow, the stern, the deck, the superstructure, all of that is not really armored whatsoever, but the main bulk of the plating is right in the midsection, protecting the barbettes, the turrets, and then of course the main belt. And in excess of well over 300 millimeters you get on the Arizona, and a lot of the other standard type battleship designs have armor plating that is well over 300 millimeters. So at long range against an angled Arizona, you're not going to deal too much damage. And then, of course, the third thing is the speed. All of the American standard type battleship designs, their maximum speed was capped at around 21 and a half knots. So these things are very slow. Now, of course, a lot of players in the game, you know, the New Mexico, the New York, the Colorado, those are some of the most played battleships tier for tier in the game if you go take a look at the various stats websites. So it's quite clear that this is a favored battleship line to go down early on in a new player's career, so to speak. So how do you get the most out of them? Well, the most important thing that you need to understand when you're playing these standard type battleships is map positioning, because you have such low amounts of speed. You can see I'm shooting at the Richelieu. That guy is able to go well over 30 knots. He can disengage from combat against me whenever he feels like it. And not only that, but his guns of 15-inch in caliber are able to overmatch quite a bit of my bow and quite a bit of my stern as well. So with that being the case, I need to position myself in the most central part of the map that I can, because by doing so, I am negating the speed disadvantage that I have. You can see that I am slowly creeping over at less than 20 knots over towards the sea cap, and you can also see on the minimap that the vast majority of my team is moving in this direction as well. The enemy team has split themselves off with about half of their forces going to A and about half of their forces coming over here to C. And you can also see at this cap over here, I almost said C 3 times in a row there. You can observe that we have an advantage over here in numbers at this cap. So what we need to do is push in here and take care of business so that we can secure the eastern part of the map for our team, and then we can move over to the west and deal with A and B, because the enemy team has already gotten B, and they are in the process of capturing A, and our forces that are over there trying to contest at A are clearly outmatched and outgunned. So right here, the reload on the Arizona is over 30 seconds. For a lot of the standard type American battleship designs, it is right at 30 seconds. So every salvo that you shoot needs to count. I got 8 seconds left on the reload. This Graf Spee is providing a nice little broadside to me. And one of the other important things for these standard type American battleships, you need to do proper target selection. You need to be shooting at the targets that are going to give you the best chance at being able to deal damage. The first salvo on the Bismarck, although he was nose in, I aimed properly, and the vast majority of my shells hit right into the superstructure, and I did about 7,000 damage. The next salvo was on the Graf Spee, and I was able to deal about 8,000 damage with a couple pens and a couple over penetrations. So the 2 targets that I shot at, providing me the best chance to be able to deal damage. And you can see here where my range is able to extend. All of the ships, sans the New Orleans, in the vicinity of the sea cap are well within my gun range. The next salvo going down range at the Graf Spee is on 177 hit points on 59, and I steal the kill to pick up the first blood, and I'm up to 20,000 points of damage. But again, Whatever target needs to die, whatever target is providing the best broadside is what you need to do. And these battleships do really well when you're paired up with a lot of other ships. You can see there's a Gneisenau, there's a Bismarck, there's a Hipper. I got my buddy in the Alba over here. Obviously, my division mate is over here. And then there's a Leningrad. So there's plenty of support over here to provide help as needed. So I'm going to help them out by shooting at the Sims. And when you have 12 of these shells flying down range, you know, that's a lot of shells at, you know, ranges of sub 8 kilometers. And I'm able to get 4 overpens and deal 5,800 points of damage to the Sims. One of those had to have penetrated. I think the shell counter on the right was lying to me a bit there. But the Leningrad manages to secure the kill, and we take care of business. So I secured the kill on the Graf Spee, I helped kill the Sims, and now this Bismarck is all alone, and I'm still able to push in here with the help of my buddies, and we will be able to take care of business. So positioning yourself in central portions of the map, or at portions of the map where you're next to the cap, and you have plenty of support, so you're not the one that's being focused. You're not the one that is taking the brunt of the fire. And again, you have so many guns with a lot of these battleship designs, with the obvious exception being the Colorado at Tier 7, which only has 8 16-inch guns. You can throw a lot of lead downrange really quickly. The New York and the New Mexico, you know, have 10 and 12 guns respectively. The Texas and the Arizona, the 2 premiums, have 10 and 12 guns respectively. So there's plenty of firepower that you can be throwing downrange and, you know, shooting at the right targets. I know that that's not necessarily an American battleship-specific thing, but being able to throw your big broadsides at the right targets is very important. Now you can see here this enemy Gneisenau is trying to push into the B-cap. Again, I've only taken minimal damage. I've done a bit in return, helped kill a few ships, got one, as a matter of fact. And now I got this Gneisenau providing to me a nice broadside. And at 12.4 kilometers, this is probably medium range for these battleships. They don't necessarily have the best accuracy, but when you do get some nice dispersion, oh, 28,000 points of damage there on that Tier 7 German battleship. I do get a little lucky with a Citadel, but it doesn't matter. I chunked him down for about half of his hit points, and I'm also pushing in, and I'm going to get the assisted base capture here on the C objective. So even though I'm slow, even though I'm trundling around, I'm still strategically placing myself to where I'm going to be getting some nice broadsides on enemy ships that we need to kill. Now, at this point in the game, we've lost 4, the enemy team has lost 5, and the score right now, I'll make that 6 for the enemy team, is 314 to 294, and the rest of the enemy ships have been pushed west of the 6th line. So half of the map is now completely under our team's control. So now, of course, I'm going to head to the west and try to put myself in a spot where I'm going to be able to get some shots at those enemy ships that are trying to come. Now, a little bit of map awareness here. You can see that there's a Richelieu and an Amagi. Both of their high-tier battleships, their Tier 8s, are on an adventure going slightly due northeast, and they're trying to chase down the friendly Richelieu and Cleveland that's over there. So I know in a few minutes worth of time, they're eventually going to wheel around to the right, and they're going to come towards the B-cap. So with that in mind, I need to get myself situated for that eventual push. And these are things you really do need to think about, again, because these battleships are so darn slow. So I know that in maybe 2 to 3 minutes, they're going to be ready to wheel to the right and push into the B-cap. So my ultimate goal is to try to get to the south end of B in a kiting position, or at least, at the very least, I should say, in a position where I'm angled to those threats, and it'll give my team that's moving around to the south side of C enough time to push to the west and get into a position where they're able to support me. Now again, target selection. The enemy Benson was in the B-cap. I got 12 shells to throw down range, and these American battleships are honestly really good at dealing with destroyers that stray a little bit too close. I got lucky with 2 penetrations, but nonetheless, I still did over 4,000 damage to that guy, and that Benson is going to be in a world of hurt. Now you can see the enemy Richelieu has turned to the right. The Amagi is going to do so here shortly, and at this point, with the Amagi taking care of him, it's only the Kagero and a very low health Cleveland that's off to my northwest that are going to provide any resistance, and it looks like that Cleveland might be going down here shortly as well. So in the meantime, I'm going to use my 2 forward guns to shoot at the enemy New Mexico, and that's exactly what happens. The Gneisenau takes care of the Cleveland, and we're down 273 to 495 at this point. A couple shells do fall in, and I do get 1 penetration. Now, I'm in a little bit of an awkward spot right now, but I'm still not panicking. I still have plenty of hit points to work with. I know that the Benson is probably going to be dropping torpedoes at me, but because I'm moving so slowly, these ships do have pretty decent levels of maneuverability, which is honestly really nice. I mean, at least relatively speaking, for battleships anyway. You can do some pretty tight turns with these ships. All of the standard type battleships to be exact. And right there, got a pretty decent salvo with the rear turrets on the Gneisenau. I'll put them down below 1,000 hit points. But at this point, I realize it's about time to turn to the right and throw off the eventual torpedoes they're going to be coming in. And we'll see if that's what happens. Now you can see the Richelieu is opening up on me. I take 7,800 damage right there. And again, I just can't angle to those 15-inch shells. I don't have enough armor in places other than the belt, really, to be able to tank that damage. So at this point, there we go. Well, there's the torpedoes. And because I was maneuvering around, not going in a straight line, all of the Benson torpedoes do miss me. And I know that his smokescreen is going to be running out here very shortly. The Bismarck manages to take care of the Gneisenau, so now I'm going to focus completely and fully on this smokescreen that is about to dissipate. And at this kind of range, you know, sub 5 kilometers, destroyers that get that close to an American battleship, it is just brutal, the amount of damage that you're able to do. And of course, BBAP LOL. So there we go. The smokescreen continues to run out. Still waiting, still waiting. I get detected. There we go. The poor bastard's at 4 kilometers away. Hide your faces, kids. This is not going to end well. I take care of the Benson, that Tier VIII American destroyer. Of course, the one shell that he does gets off lights a fire on me, but that is A-okay. And now I'm going to angle here towards the enemy Amagi. The Richelieu decided to head a little bit further north for some reason before he's going to decide to wheel south. Actually, there were more torpedoes incoming. I guess I thought that there was one set of torpedoes that the Benson launched. At this point, I realize I have to make this turn. The Amagi is shooting HE, so whatever damage that I eat from the Richelieu is damage that at least I have the hit points to be able to tank it, to utilize it. I only took about 5,000 there, so now I'm immediately going to start kiting away and put myself in a position where I'm going to be closer to my friends. And I know that you can't always count on division mates to be there to support you. I know that you can't always count on your team to be able to do so, but that is one of the most tried and true methods in these standard battleships that are pretty slow. You need to stay with the main body of your fleet. So again, at the beginning of the game, finding out where your team is going and putting yourself in a central position of the map, A, or B, putting yourself with the main body is without question the most important thing. Because I can't afford to go on a flank by myself, like the Amagi and the Richelieu kind of did. I can't afford to do that. I'm too slow. I'm going to be putting myself in a really bad position where I'm just not really going to be able to support. And again, I do have 18.6 kilometers of range on this guy, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. It's inconsequential because I'm going to be so far out of position. And also, you know, since it's a mid-tier battleship, they don't necessarily have the most terrifying AA suites. So if there are carriers in the game, well, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. Now, at this point, a little bit of micro-maneuvering here positions myself conveniently behind this island so that I'm going to get myself a little time here for my heel to come back, my repair is ready to go, and hopefully we're going to be able to capture the B-cap before the Amagi shells do come down range, and that's exactly what is going to happen. So being able to utilize that little terrain right there to my team's advantage helps us secure the assisted base capture as I get a broadside downrange at the Amagi before I take shells and it would get reset again. You can see there that Steve is on 1,120 hit points, and it appears that he did take a torpedo from the Kagero, so he kicks the bucket. And once again, the Richelieu is just staying at range. I'm not 100% sure why. He could really easily engage me and not have that much of an issue. But then again, my positioning has been pretty spot on and pretty nice, so I guess it's made it a little difficult for him to be able to find a good counter to my positioning, I guess. Now you can see here on the enemy team, their New Mexico did a pretty nice job. He stayed with the main body of their group that was at A, and he still has a pretty decent amount of hit points to work with here at the end of the game, as I land almost a 10k salvo on the Richelieu, providing a little too much broadside, excuse me. I do pick up the Confederate, and I'm up to 110,000 points of damage, which for a Tier 6 battleship that has a 30-second plus reload, that's pretty impressive if I do say so myself. We have in control all 3 of the caps, so at this point, it's pretty much unthrowable. We're just going to finish off these last 2 enemy battleships and secure the victory. New Mexico, 6.5 kilometers. This is short range for these guns, and I should be able to do a nice amount of damage if I aim properly. Unfortunately, he angles in just enough, but I managed to do 5,000 damage, and he's only able to use his front 2 turrets. He does about 5,500 in return, so that's right. And now I'm just going to angle a little bit, I think. I don't know. I have enough hit points that I could take a pretty decent broadside from one of his turrets, and I'm still going to be A-okay. He decides to shoot at the hipper, so now at this point I realize it's high time for me to turn into the right and start to angle to the Richelieu. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get the kill shot on this guy, maybe. Got about 1 second left on the reload. Shells are going out. I only send the 2 front guns out, and I get 2 penetrations that only deal 1,700 points of damage, because screw my Kraken. Or at least the potential for me to get a Kraken. But again, you can see here, I'm in a central part of the map. I stayed virtually between the 8 line and the 5 line this entire game. never straying out to the flanks, never putting myself in a position where I'm way too far away from the battle, that my low speed is actually going to be more of a hindrance than a help. And this is going to end up being a really nice game in +2 matchmaking. Now, of course, I'm a good player, I get that. But all of the lessons that you've seen throughout the course of this video are definitely applicable, and they will be reflected in the post-battle results as well. So, I got all the guns reloaded. The Richelieu takes a torpedo on the nose. He's taking some more damage. I'm waiting here to get the kill shot. I was honestly really salty at the time that I didn't pick up the kill on the New Mexico, but that's alright, as I do kill the Richelieu and end the game. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 485,000 credits received and 13,400 total experience earned. This was my first win of the day. I picked up Confederate and First Blood, dealing 119,000 points of damage off of 73 shell hits. I acquired 2 citadels, 2 assisted base captures, and 4 enemy ships sunk. Taking a look at the team score, 2,202 base experience makes me #1 on the team for experience earned, which was a very nice performance in Tier 8 matchmaking. My buddy GRE score in the Cleveland had 1 kill himself and finished in 5th place. Taking a look at the detailed report, all 119,000 damage was dealt with the armor-piercing shot, and even with the slow reload, if you do place your salvos correctly and at the right targets, you can still do quite a bit of damage in these things. Almost 1 million potential damage, 43 out of the 179 capture points got for the team, and I traveled almost 40 kilometers, which, quite frankly, is a pretty decent journey for one of these slow American BBs. So again, to recap, the main points of this replay: going with the main body of the fleet, staying in central positions of the map, helping out at the caps, shooting at the targets that are giving you the best possible broadside, and not straying to the flanks, not going out by yourself. It actually requires a bit of teamwork, but it can work. And for all the new players out there, it doesn't matter whether you're in a Colorado and Tier 9 matchmaking, or you're in a New York and you're top dog in Tier 5 and 4, the same principles apply because you're so slow. And I hope this video was able to help you guys out in that regard. So with that being the case, this is the Sneaky Snake for BIA World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, sharing it with your buddies, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated, and have a fantastic day.